The night before my 26th birthday, Ethan pulled out an engagement ring. It wasn't for me. In front of all our friends, he slid the ring box across the table to Mia. You said you liked it, right? Have it for fun. The private room fell silent for a beat. Mia covered her mouth and laughed, reaching out to take the ring. Ethan turned to look at me. Ivy. Stop forcing me with your clan's stupid rules. Marriage isn't something you get to demand just because you want it. I stared at the ring I'd waited 7 years for. And suddenly laughed. He snatched the ring back and held it out to me. Put it on when you're done acting out. I didn't take it. I pushed Mia's hand toward him instead. You wear it. It fits perfectly. The music in the room was still playing when he said have it for fun. The drumbeat thudded against my eardrums one after another. The ice bucket on the table steamed white, and glasses clinked with a crisp sound. Mia sat on his left. I sat on his right. A cake separated us. 26 thin candles stuck out of the cake, their flames flickering in the air conditioning. Wax dripped down onto the cream flowers. Today was my birthday. It was also the deadline I'd given Ethan. 3 months earlier, I'd told him, Ethan, I have to get engaged before I turn 26. It's not me forcing you, it's our clan's rule. Grandma passed the silver flame to me. If I'm not engaged by 26, I have to go back and run the silver house. Once I go back, I can't live in River City full-time for at least 3 years. He'd been staring at his documents then, his pen scratching across the paper. Got it. I'd asked him, do you really get it? He'd looked up, his brows furrowed. Ivy, you've been with me since you were 20. You think I'd ever leave you? I'd held on to those words for 3 months, right up until today. I was wearing the indigo dress Grandma had sent me. Its hem embroidered with tiny silver butterflies. I'd pulled my hair up and pinned it with a silver hairpin. Before leaving the house, I'd stared at myself in the mirror for a long time. I thought tonight would finally bring an answer, even if it wasn't some grand proposal. Even if he just slipped the ring on my finger and said let's spend the rest of our lives together, I would have taken it. But he'd given the ring to Mia. He'd said, have it for fun. Mia opened the ring box, and the light caught the diamond, stinging my eyes. She smiled at me. Don't be mad, Ivy. Ethan was just teasing me. I stared at the ring. 2 letters were engraved on the inside of the band. E and I. Ethan and Ivy. I'd gone with him to have it custom made 3 years ago. His company had just survived its first round of funding. There was barely any money in the bank, but he'd pulled me into a jewelry store when I'd lingered too long in front of the display case. When the clerk asked for my size, he'd squeezed my ring finger and said he knew it. Of course he did. Back when he was building his company, he'd slept in his office and eaten cold takeout when his stomach pain got so bad he could barely stand. I'd driven across town in the middle of the night to bring him medicine. When he'd drunk himself sick at business dinners, I'd knelt in hotel bathrooms wiping his face with a cold towel. When his first contract had been stolen, I'd sat beside him rewriting the proposal until dawn, my eyes bloodshot. He'd held my hand then and said, Ivy, as soon as I'm on my feet, I'll marry you. I'd waited. From 20 to 26. Waited until his company moved into the most expensive office building in River City. Waited until his suits went from cheap off-the-rack to custom-made. Waited until everyone around him called me Mrs. Ethan. Only he never said the war. DS. Tonight, he finally did. He said marriage wasn't something I got to demand just because I wanted it. My fingers tightened under the table, nails digging into my palm. I didn't cry. My eyes burned so dry they hurt. Someone tried to smooth things over. Ethan, it's Ivy's birthday. Don't joke like that. Yeah, man. She's waited for you for years. Don't be an asshole. Ethan leaned back against the sofa, his shirt collar unbuttoned, spinning a lighter in his hand. Snap. A flame flared up. Snap. It went out again. He looked at me. I'm being an asshole. She's throwing her clan's rules in my face and demanding I propose tonight. That's not being an asshole. My throat tightened. I told you 3 months ago. Ethan, I didn't ask you to get down on one knee tonight. I just asked you one thing. Do you want to commit to me? He laughed sharply. Commit? Ivy. You live with me. You have my secondary credit card. My mom accepts you. What more could you possibly want? I looked at him. I want a title. He threw the lighter onto the table. The metal hit the glass turntable with a sharp, grating sound. A title. When did you become so obsessed with this stupid, superficial stuff? Mia closed the ring box gently, her fingers pressing down on the lid. Ethan. Ivy's probably just insecure. She didn't finish. Ethan shot her a look, and she fell silent immediately, but the smile was still on her lips. That smile twisted my stomach into knots. I reached out and plucked the candles from the cake one by one. The flame burned my fingertips, but I didn't let go. Someone shouted, Ivy, be careful. Ethan sat up straighter. What are you doing, Ivy? I dropped all the candles into an empty wine glass. The flames went out. The smell of smoke mixed with cream filled my nose. I looked up at him, making a wish. He frowned. What are you on about now? I said. I wish Ethan would always stay this sober. No one in the room spoke. Ethan's face darkened. Who are you being sarcastic to? I stood up. My legs were numb, and my heels sank into the carpet, making my ankles weak. But I stood straight, to myself, to finally see what kind of man I've wasted 7 years on. Someone gasped. Ethan's eyes turned cold. Ivy. Every time he said my full name like that, he was waiting for me to back down. I always had before. When he was stressed about work, I'd back down. When his mother was critical of me, I'd back down. When rumors spread about him and Mia, I'd back down. Because I'd always thought he was just tired. He didn't not love me. He just didn't know how to show it. But tonight, the ring box was in Mia's hands, and suddenly, those 7 years felt like the stupidest mistake of my life. Ethan held out his hand. Give me the ring. Mia's smile froze. Ethan. Give it to me. She bit her lip and handed him the box. Ethan opened it and took out the ring. He stood up and walked over to me. The room's lights fell on his shoulders, and he still looked so sure of himself, like I'd always come crawling back. No matter what he did, he held the ring out to me. Put it on when you're done acting out. This ends tonight. The ring hovered in front of my eyes. I saw the letters inside the band. E and I. Once, I'd thought they were a promise. Now, they just looked like a scar. I raised my hand. Ethan's eyes relaxed slightly. The next second, I grabbed Mia's wrist and pushed her forward. She stumbled, her wrist slamming into Ethan's palm. The ring fell into her hand. I said, You wear it. It fits perfectly. Mia's face went white. A vein throbbed in Ethan's temple. Ivy, don't push your luck. I laughed. Push my luck. You threw the thing I've waited 7 years for at another woman to play with. And now you're talking to me about luck. I grabbed my bag from the back of the chair. The chain hit the corner of the table, knocking over a wine glass. Red wine spilled onto the white tablecloth, dripping down the edge. Drip, drip. Ethan grabbed my wrist. His grip was tight. Where are you going? I stared at his hand wrapped around my wrist. I'd held that hand for 7 years. In winter, when his hands were cold, I'd tucked them into my coat pocket. In summer, when he was driving, I'd wiped the sweat from his palms. Now his fingers felt like iron bands around my skin. I pried his fingers off one by one. Home. He sneered. Our home. No. I looked up at him. My home. When I pushed open the private room door, cold wind rushed down the hallway. The smell of alcohol and cigarette smoke was left behind me. It was raining outside. The stone steps at the club entrance glistened with rain. I stood under the awning and heard footsteps behind me. Someone called out, Ivy. Don't do something you'll regret. Ethan's just stubborn. He didn't mean it. I didn't look back. My phone buzzed in my bag. Once. Twice. I pulled it out. It was Granny Silver from the clan. I answered. On the other end, I heard the creak of a wooden door and the sound of rain hitting tiles. Ivy. It'll be midnight soon. You'll be 26. The lamp in the silver flame hall is lit for you. If you've found someone, send their name back. If not, take the first bus tomorrow morning. Come home. My throat tightened. Granny. Yes. I'm coming home. There was a pause on the line. You're sure? I'm sure. What about that Ethan boy? I looked out at the rain. Ethan was standing a few steps away. He wasn't holding an umbrella. His white shirt was damp at the shoulders from the mist. He was staring at me, anger burning in his eyes. I spoke into the phone. I don't want him anymore. Granny didn't press. Good. The key to the silver house is under the wooden box in your room. Someone will meet you at the clan gate tomorrow. The call ended. Ethan walked over. Who was that? Family. What did they say? That I'm going home. His brows furrowed. Are you seriously putting on a show right now? I stepped down from the awning into the rain. The water hit my face. Cold and sharp. Ethan grabbed me again. I'll have my driver take you home. No. Do you have to make me look like a fool in front of everyone? I stopped. The rain pounded on the awning above us. Loud and relentless. Ethan. I'm not the one who looks like a fool. He stared at me. I shook his hand off. I am. I wore the dress Grandma embroidered for me. I wore her silver hairpin. I sat there waiting for one word from you. And you handed the ring to Mia. When she laughed. I heard people snickering behind me. When you said I was pressuring you into marriage. I saw your friends look away. And now you're asking me if I'm making you look like a fool. My chest heaved. Rain running down my chin. I've already looked like enough of a fool. Ethan. His lips pressed into a tight line. After a long moment, he said, I never meant to actually give it to her. I just wanted you to calm down. I nodded. I am calm. That's why I don't want it anymore. His eyes darkened. Don't want the ring. Or don't want me. I looked at him. Both. Ethan's face drained of color. He reached for me again. I stepped back. Don't touch me. His hand hung in midair. Mia ran out from behind him, holding an umbrella. Ethan. You're getting wet. She held the umbrella over his head. Then looked at me. I'm sorry about tonight. Ivy. I'll give you the ring back. She pulled the ring out of her bag. It lay in her palm. The rain dulling its shine. She held it out to me. Please don't fight with Ethan over me. I looked at her. Mia. Her eyelids fluttered. You knew there were letters engraved inside the ring, didn't you? Her fingers tightened around the ring. I took a step closer. And you knew he was going to take it out tonight, didn't you? She bit her lip. Ethan frowned. Ivy, don't take this out on her. I laughed. Rain getting into my mouth. It tasted bitter. I haven't even said anything yet. Why are you rushing to defend her? Mia's eyes filled with tears. Her voice dropping to a whisper. I really was just joking. Ivy, if you don't like it, I won't touch Ethan's things anymore. I reached out and closed her hand around the ring. Don't wait for later. Put it on now. Mia froze. Ethan shouted. Ivy. I turned to look at him. You said she could have it for fun, right? So have fun. She won't wear it because she knows it's tainted. I won't wear it because I think it's disgusting. Ethan's breathing grew heavy. He stepped forward. His shoulder knocking the umbrella aside. Rain poured down on his hair. Say that again. I opened my bag and pulled out a key. The silver keychain still had the red string I'd braided for him. The string was dark and wet from the rain. I placed the key in his palm. I just did. Your apartment. Your credit card. Your ring. You. I'm giving it all back. From today on. I don't owe you anything. And I'm not waiting for you anymore. His hand clenched around the key so tight I could hear the metal dig into his skin. I turned and walked into the rain. Behind me. I heard Mia's voice. Ethan. She's leaving. Ethan didn't follow. I knew he wouldn't. For 7 years. Every time we fought. He'd stood there waiting for me to come back. He was used to it. I was used to it. But this time. I didn't look back. I didn't go back to Ethan's apartment. I took a taxi to the small apartment I'd rented secretly 2 years ago. It was tiny, 1 bedroom. 1 living room on the 6th floor of an old building with no elevator. When I'd rented it, I hadn't known exactly what I was preparing for. Maybe there's a string inside every person that when stretched too tight, finds its own escape route. I dragged my soaking wet skirt up the stairs. 2 of the hallway lights were broken, and the paint was peeling off the walls. My shoes squelched on the concrete steps. I fumbled with the key in the lock, my hands shaking, before finally turning it. The apartment smelled faintly of camphor. Several cardboard boxes sat by the window. Inside were my documents, design sketches, the silverworking tools Grandma had sent me, a few sets of clothes, and a wooden chest. I knelt on the floor and dragged it out. Under the lid was a brass key. A silver butterfly was carved into the handle. This was the key to the silver house. Grandma had pressed it into my hand before she died. She'd said, "Ivy, you can love someone, but never hand them the key to your own door." I'd cried in her arms then, telling her I had Ethan. Grandma had stroked my hair and said nothing. Now, remembering the look in her eyes, a chill ran down my spine. I took out my phone and canceled the cleaning service for Ethan's apartment. I unlinked his secondary credit card from my account. I blocked his mother on WeChat. I opened the closet and packed the few clothes I'd left there into a suitcase. At 1 in the morning, Ethan called. I watched the screen light up, then go dark, light up again, dark again. On the 7th ring, he sent a message. "Are you done acting out yet?" I didn't reply. The second message came quickly. "It's pouring outside. Don't be stupid." Third, "I'll send the driver to pick you up tomorrow morning." Fourth, "Ivy, this is enough." I turned my phone face down on the table. The only sound in the room was the rain. I changed out of my wet clothes and took a shower. The hot water burned my shoulders red. I looked down at my ring finger. It was empty, but I could still feel the ghost of a ring there. I scrubbed at it until my skin was raw, then stopped. At 5 in the morning, I dragged my suitcase downstairs. The rain had stopped. A pale gray light hung over the sky. There was a soybean milk stand at the entrance to the old neighborhood. Steam rising from the pot. I bought a cup. The paper cup burned my hands, and I held it tightly. Feeling slowly returned to my fingertips. The airport bus stop was around the corner. I'd just reached it when a black Bentley pulled up beside me. The window rolled down. Ethan was sitting in the back seat. He hadn't slept. There were dark circles under his eyes, but he'd changed his clot. He's and fixed his hair. He was still the perfect, put together Ethan. He stared at my suitcase, his eyes widening slightly. "You're actually leaving?" I took a sip of soybean milk. It was sweet, with a strong beanie aftertaste. "Yeah." He pushed open the car door and got out. "Where are you going?" "Back to the clan." "For how long?" I looked at him. "At least 3 years." Ethan's jaw tightened. "Don't threaten me with that. You've heard about our clan's rules 100 times. I thought you were just talking. I thought you'd remember." He fell silent. I dragged my suitcase toward the bus stop. He followed me. "What about your job?" "I already resigned." "What about your things in the apartment?" "I don't want them." "What about 7 years?" I stopped. The morning wind blew, carrying the smell of damp earth. I turned to look at him. "Now you're asking about 7 years. Ethan, when you handed that ring to Mia last night, did you think about 7 years? He closed his eyes. "I told you. That was just a stupid thing I said when I was angry. But I heard it. Ivy." His voice dropped. "I didn't want you to leave." I smiled slightly. "You just wanted me to hurt." His face went rigid. I said, "You knew exactly what I was most afraid of. You were afraid the clan's rules would force me to leave. You were afraid I'd disappoint Grandma. You were afraid I'd wait forever. So you used the ring to hurt me. You wanted to show me that pressuring you would never work. And you succeeded." "Ethan, I get it now." The bus pulled into the station. The door opened, and the driver called out, "All aboard for the airport." I picked up my suitcase. Ethan reached out to stop me. "I won't let you go." I looked up at him. "On what grounds?" His Adam's apple bobbed. "On the grounds that we've been together for 7 years." I pulled out my phone and opened the photo album in front of him. There was one picture, taken in the private room last night. Ethan was handing the ring to Mia. Her hand was already reaching for it. Air was a cold smile on his face. A friend had sent it to me. The caption read, IV. Ethan was drunk. Don't take it to heart. I held the phone up to his face. 7 years doesn't measure up to that one moment. I deleted the photo. Then I deleted his WeChat. Ethan's phone buzzed once. He looked down at the notification disappearing, then looked back up at me. His eyes wild. IV. I got on the bus. The door closed. He banged on the window once. The driver stuck his head out and yelled, "Hey, what do you think you're doing? Get out of the way." Ethan stood outside. His palm pressed against the glass. I sat by the window. The bus pulled away slowly. His figure receded into the distance. He was still watching me. I finished the last of my soybean milk, crumpled the cup, and threw it in the trash. When the plane landed in Mountain Province, the sun was already high in the sky. Mist clung to the runway, and the air smelled of grass and wet soil. I walked out of the airport, and the car from the clan was waiting outside. Archer was driving. He was Granny Silver's grandson, 2 years older than me. When we were kids, he'd always followed me around, picking up the silver bells I'd dropped in the stream. Later, he'd gone to the city to study tourism management. I'd stayed in River City, helping Ethan build his company. We hadn't seen each other in years. He was wearing a black windbreaker, holding an umbrella. When he saw me, he reached for my suitcase. "You've lost weight." IV. I smiled. "You've gotten taller." He put the suitcase in the trunk. "Granny Silver's waiting for you in the hall. All the clan elders are there too." I nodded. The car drove away from the airport, heading into the mountains. The buildings grew fewer, and the bamboo forests thicker. The winding mountain road made my stomach churn. I leaned against the window, watching the mist roll down the hillsides. My phone was silent. Ethan hadn't called again. Maybe he'd finally gone to sleep. Maybe he thought I'd be back in a few days. I turned my phone off. When we drove through the clan gate, the sound of silver bells carried on the wind. Wooden houses stacked one on top of the other. Corn and red chili peppers hanging under the stilted floors. A stream ran through the village, and the stone paths glistened with rain. The Silver Flame Hall was at the very end. A crowd was gathered outside the door. Granny Silver was standing there, leaning on her cane, her hair completely white, a pair of old silver earrings hanging from her ears. When she saw me, her eyes glistened for a moment. Then she composed herself. "You're home." I walked over and knelt in front of her. "I'm home." She placed her hand on my head. Her palm was rough, smelling of silver powder. "You didn't bring a man's name with you." "No." Someone in the crowd sighed. Another voice whispered, "That Ethan boy never was good enough. City men are all talk." Granny Silver turned and shot them a look. The voices fell silent immediately. She helped me up and led me into the hall. A silver lamp burned on the altar. Its wick was thin, and the flame stood steady. The names of every silver master in our clan's history hung on the wall. Grandma's name was on the last line. Laney Lane. She'd never married. With her own 2 hands, she'd sold our clan's silver jewelry all across the country. And she'd raised me. Granny Silver placed the brass key in my palm. "Ivy Lane. By clan law, since you have not been engaged by the age of 26, you shall inherit the silver flame. From today on, the silver house accounts, the workshop, and the register of inheritors are all under your care. You may marry if you wish, or you may not. But for 3 years, the silver flame must not leave your side." I gripped the key tightly. "I accept." She stared at me. "Once you accept, you cannot run back to some man halfway." I looked up at her. "I won't. Not even if he kneels at the clan gate." My throat tightened. Then I relaxed. "He'll never kneel." Granny Silver laughed. "All the better." After the ceremony, I changed into the clan's silver robes. They were heavy, layers of silver pieces weighing on my shoulders. Every step I took, the silver bells rang. Archer was standing outside the door, holding a bowl of ginger tea. "Drink this." I took it. The ginger burned my nose, making my eyes water. He looked at the burn on my fingertip. "Did you do that last night?" I pulled my hand back. I was pulling out candles. He didn't ask why. He just said, "The Silver House needs someone who knows online marketing. You used to write brand plans for Ethan. This is perfect for you." I looked up at him. He smiled slightly. "Coming back isn't a retreat, Ivy. It's your own path." I held the ginger tea, the steam warming my face. A crack appeared in the ice around my heart. It took Ethan 3 days to realize I wasn't coming back. That day, I was taking inventory in the Silver House backyard. Boxes of old silver jewelry were being brought out from the storeroom. Bracelets, necklaces, brooches, hairpins, each one had a number. I was checking them against the ledger, my fingers covered in silver dust. Archer was handing out tools to the new apprentices. Granny Silver was sitting on the porch, sunning herself, when I turned my phone on. Messages flooded in. Ethan had sent over 40. First day. "Where are you? Text me when you land. Ivy. Don't make me worry." Second day. "I know you resigned. How long are you going to keep this up? My mom's asking when you're coming back." Third day. "I haven't touched your things in the apartment." I put the ring away. "Mia cried all afternoon yesterday. She says you misunderstood her. Come back. We need to talk." The last one was just sent. "Send me your address." I read them for 2 seconds, then turned the phone off. Archer handed me a cracked silver bracelet. "This one's broken." I put my phone in my pocket. "Mark it as damaged. I'll fix it tonight." Granny Silver lifted her eyelids. "That Ethan boy. Yeah, he's looking for you." "Yeah." She set down her teacup. "Don't reply too quickly." I smiled. "I won't." She nodded. Tough cookie. That afternoon, Ethan called the Silver House landline. Molly, the 17-year-old apprentice, answered. Her voice was bright and clear. "Hello. Silver Flame House." Whatever Ethan said, Molly turned and yelled to me. "Silver Master, there's a man on the phone who sounds like he just lost $1 million. Everyone in the yard laughed. I walked over. "Give it to me." I pressed the phone to my ear. Ethan's voice was low and tight. "Ivy," I said. "What do you want?" There was a pause on the line. "What did she just call you?" "Silver Master." "What the hell is that?" I looked at the silver sheets drying in the yard. "Just because you don't understand something, Ethan, doesn't mean it's stupid." His breathing grew heavier. "Send me your address." "No. I went to your hometown. No one would tell me where you are." "That's because they did the right thing." He laughed coldly. "You think hiding in the mountains means I can't find you?" My finger traced the edge of the ledger. "You can try, but even if you find it, you won't get in." "Ivy, are you really going to burn this bridge completely?" I said. "I'm just going home. We haven't broken up yet." "Yes, we have." I didn't agree to it. I laughed out loud. Granny Silver looked up at me. I said into the phone, "Breaking up isn't a contract. Ethan, it doesn't need your signature." There was a crash on the other end of the line. Ethan's voice was strained. "Then what were those 7 years?" I looked at the old wooden plaque above the Silver Flame Hall door. The wood was cracked from years of wind and rain, but the characters were still clear. I said, "They were my mistake." The line went dead. I hung up. Molly leaned over. "Silver Master, was he really that handsome?" I thought for a moment. "He was okay." "Then why did you leave him?" I picked up a silver hammer and tapped it against the cracked bracelet. Ding. The sound was clear and bright. "There are lots of pretty things in the world, but once they're dirty, you can't wear them anymore." Molly nodded, still looking confused. That night, the Silver House had its first live stream. It was the first thing I'd done since coming back. I'd sorted the clan's silver jewelry by story, shot short videos, and started streaming to explain the meaning behind each pattern. Archer was in charge of the camera. Molly modeled the pieces. Granny Silver sat in the background, lending her presence. 10 minutes into the stream, we had over 1,000 viewers. 30 minutes in, the first batch of silver butterfly bracelets sold out. The comments were flying. "This Silver Master has such a calm voice. These silver pieces are incredible. I want to visit the village." I sat under the light and picked up a brooch. Silver light fell on the back of my hand. "This one is called Homecoming. Women wear it when they leave home. And when they come back. A door isn't meant to lock you in. It's meant to tell you that you can always come back. As soon as I finished speaking, a huge donation popped up on the screen. Username. E. My fingers paused for a second. Archer looked at me. I turned off the donation notifications. Thank you for the gift. But Silver Flame House doesn't accept unsolicited money. If you'd like to buy something, please place an order. If you're just here to watch, please be respectful. The username never appeared again. Mia showed up first. She got there before Ethan. That afternoon, a white car pulled up under the drum tower at the clan gate. Mia was wearing a Chanel suit, her high heels sinking into the stone path. Stumbling every few steps, Molly ran into the Silver House. Silver Master, there's a city girl at the gate asking for you, and she's wearing a diamond ring. I was halfway through pulling a silver wire. What ring? Molly blinked. A diamond ring, but she's wearing it on her middle finger. I put down my tools and walked outside. Mia was standing under the drum tower. She was indeed wearing that ring, the E&I ring. In the sunlight, the diamond sparkled blindingly. When she saw me, her eyes first swept over my silver apron, then landed on Archer, who was standing behind me. Hi, Ivy. Her voice was soft. I came to apologize. A crowd had gathered at the clan gate. Granny Silver was standing on the porch, leaning on her cane. Watching, I walked up to her. You came to apologize wearing my old ring. Mia touched the ring self-consciously. I didn't mean to. Ethan said you didn't want it anymore. I was afraid I'd lose it. So I've been wearing it for safekeeping. I stared at her hand. It looks like it fits you perfectly. A flash of panic crossed her eyes. Quickly, she lowered her voice even more. I know you're mad at me, Ivy, but ever since you left, Ethan's been miserable. He hasn't been to the office in 3 days. He's been looking for you everywhere. I said nothing. She took a step closer. Please come back. You two have 7 years together. You shouldn't throw it all away over me. I looked at her. Mia, did you come here to apologize? Or to convince me to go back so you two can keep walking all over me? Her eyes filled with tears. Some of the onlookers started frowning. She sniffled. I'm not trying to do that. I just think you're being selfish. Ethan's already humbled himself so much for you. He's never had to beg anyone for anything in his life. What more do you want from him? I laughed. Archer clicked his tongue softly behind me. Mia looked at him. Who are you? I said. That's none of your business. She bit her lip. Then suddenly pulled the ring off and held it out to me. Then here. Take it back. Please stop being so stubborn. I didn't take it. The ring hung in the air between us. The wind at the clan gate blew her hair back. Tears streamed down her face. She looked absolutely devastated. If we'd been in River City, Ethan's friends would have been telling me I was being unreasonable again. But this was my clan. Granny Silver tapped her cane on the ground once. What are you crying about? Mia jumped. Granny Silver walked over, her eyes fixed on the ring. Girl, have you worn this ring? Mia nodded, then shook her head. You wore it. That's all that matters. Granny Silver cut her off. In our clan, you don't touch another woman's betrothal silver. If you do, you either marry the man, or you pay for it. Mia's face went white. This isn't silver. It's a diamond ring. Granny Silver sneered. A person's heart is worth more than any silver. You touched another woman's heart, and then you come to her door crying. Didn't your parents teach you any manners? Someone in the crowd laughed. Mia's hands started shaking. She looked at me. Are you just going to stand there and let them humiliate me? I walked over and took the ring from her hand. A flicker of hope crossed Mia's face. The next second, I turned and walked to the stream. Water rushed over the stones, making a soft, rushing sound. I raised my hand and dropped the ring into the water. Plop! A small splash. Mia screamed. Are you crazy? I turned back to her. Now you don't have to give it back. She lunged at me. But Archer stepped in front of her. His voice was calm. Miss Mia, there are security cameras at the clan gate. If you touch her, we'll call the police. Mia's chest heaved. She pointed at me. You'll regret this, Ivy. I wiped my hands on my apron. Ethan said the same thing. Come up with something new. Mia glared at me, then turned and stormed off. Her high heels clicked loudly on the stone path, uneven and angry, before she got in her car. She looked back at me. The pretense of innocence was gone from her eyes. All that was left was hatred. That night, word spread through River City's social circles. They said I'd hooked up with a man from the clan after going back home. They said I'd tricked Ethan into proposing and thrown the ring in the river out of spite when he refused. They said my family ran a cult with ancient rules that forced men to marry into the clan. A friend sent me screenshots. Ivy, do you want me to clear this up? I read them, then sent them to Archer. He replied quickly, I'll handle it. 10 minutes later, the Silver Flame House official account posted a video. It showed Mia standing at the clan gate, wearing the ring. I asked her, You came to apologize wearing my old ring, she said. Ethan said you didn't want it anymore. I was afraid I'd lose it. So I've been wearing it for safekeeping. Then it showed her calling me selfish and saying Ethan had already humbled himself. The video was unedited. Every word was clear. The caption was just one sentence. Silver Flame House does not welcome those who steal others' betrothal gifts. The comments exploded. Ethan arrived at the clan gate the next day. He didn't call ahead. He was wearing a black overcoat, clutching his car keys, standing under the drum tower. It had rained again in the mountains, and the stone path was slippery. His leather shoes were caked in mud. When Molly ran to tell me, I was measuring a customer's wrist for a bracelet. Silver Master, that $8 million man is here. I didn't look up. Tell him to wait. He says his name is Ethan. I know. The customer looked at me. Ex-boyfriend. I nodded. She held her wrist steady. Then make him wait longer. I smiled. And wait he did. For 2 hours. Ethan stood there from noon until afternoon. Everyone who passed by stared at him. Some asked if he needed a ticket. Some asked if he was lost. Little kids circled around Uncle, are you looking for the Silver Master? Ethan's face grew darker and darker. After 3 hours, he finally lost his temper and stormed into the Silver House. Archer blocked the door. Mr. Ethan, do you have an appointment? Ethan didn't even look at him. Move. Archer didn't move. The Silver House has customers today, Ethan said coldly. I'm Ivy's boyfriend. The entire yard went silent. I looked up. Ex-boyfriend. Ethan's eyes locked onto me. He'd lost weight in the 3 days since I'd seen him. His eyes were sunken, and he hadn't shaved. He stared at my silver apron, at the measuring tape in my hand. Then at Archer. Are you living with him? I handed the measuring tape to Molly. That's the first thing you have to say to me, Ethan. He stepped closer. Answer me. I held up a hand to stop Archer from speaking. No. Ethan's expression softened slightly. I continued. But even if I were, it's none of your business. The softness in his eyes shattered immediately. Ivy, do you have to talk to me like this? What did you come here to hear, Ethan? He pulled a box out of his coat pocket. A black velvet box. I recognized it immediately. It wasn't the old one. I had a new ring made. He opened it. Inside was an even bigger diamond ring, in the Silver House's light. It glowed harshly. Come back to River City with me. We'll get engaged. Several people in the yard gasped. Molly's eyes went wide. Granny Silver sat on the porch, tapping her teacup lid gently against the bowl. I stared at the ring. If this had been 6 months ago, I probably would have held out my hand. If this had been the night before last, I might have cried. But now, it just felt absurd. Ethan, you think I threw away the old ring because it was too small? His hand froze. That's not what I meant. Then what did you mean? His Adam's apple bobbed. I know I was out of line that night. I'll handle Mia. You want to get engaged? Fine. We can have a wedding too. If you want to have the ceremony here in the clan, I'll come back for it. He spoke quickly, every word sounding like a business negotiation. I looked at him. You still don't get it. He frowned. I'm here, aren't I? I agreed to marry you. What more do you want? I smiled slowly. You see. Every word you say is I agree. Like these 7 years I've been waiting for your approval. Ethan's face paled. I took a step closer. I wasn't waiting for you to agree. Ethan. I was waiting for you to want to. Not for you to finally give in because I left. The wind blew through the yard, making the silver pieces jingle softly. His fingers tightened around the ring box. Don't make this final. Ivy. I came here to give you an out. I nodded. Then take it back. I don't want it. His eyes turned cold. You're going to throw away 7 years over one stupid night. It wasn't just one night. I looked at him, speaking slowly and clearly. It was every time you made me wait. Every time you made me swallow my pride. Every time I needed you to stand up for me. And you told me to be reasonable. When I threw that ring in the stream, Ethan. I didn't feel sad. I just felt free. All the color drained from his face. Mia's voice suddenly came from the door. Ethan. She was standing there, her eyes red and swollen. I knew I'd find you here. Ethan turned around. Who told you to come? Everyone's attacking me online. You wouldn't answer my calls. I had nowhere else to go. She looked at me. Are you happy now, Ivy? Before I could say anything, Granny Silver stood up. All of you. Out. Mia froze. Granny Silver tapped her cane on the ground. This is a silver house, not a theater. Ethan took a deep breath and stared at me. I'll come back tonight, I said. Don't bother. He set the ring box on the table. You'll take it. I picked up the box, walked to the door, and dropped it into the lost and found basket for tourists. If someone lost this, they can claim it. Ethan stared at the basket, his lips moving. He said nothing. Ethan didn't leave. He checked into the only guest house outside the clan. The owner came to the silver house that night to buy earrings, grinning from ear to ear. Silver Master. Your ex-boyfriend booked our most expensive room, $880 a night for 7 nights. I asked him if he wanted sour fish soup. And he said whatever. Turns out he can't handle spice at all. Drank 3 bottles of water. Molly laughed so hard she banged her fist on the table. I kept working on a silver hairpin, tapping the hammer steadily. Don't make fun of the guests. The owner leaned closer. Is he really here to beg you to come back? I didn't look up. He's here to prove he can still get whatever he wants. Granny Silver heard this and snorted, then let him hit his head against a wall. Ethan started showing up at the silver house every day. First day, he bought a silver butterfly bracelet. Second day, he bought a brooch. Third day, he bought a hairpin. He never haggled. He just stared at me the whole time. I handed him the receipt. Thank you for your purchase. Come again soon. He looked at me. Is that all you're going to say to me? I said. That's what I say to all customers. I'm not just a customer. You paid money. He was speechless. On the 5th day, the Silver House received a large order. A luxury hotel in River City wanted to do an intangible cultural heritage theme exhibition. And they specifically requested Silver Flame House. When the contract came through, I saw the client's company name and paused. It was Ethan's tourism subsidiary. Archer saw it too. Should we take it? I flipped through the contract. The price was very high. The exposure was excellent. But there was one clause. The project lead must be present in River City for 2 weeks. I closed the contract. No. Archer nodded. I'll tell them. He just picked up the phone when the person on the other end changed. It was Ethan. Can't you separate business from personal feelings? I took the phone from Archer. I can. That's why I'm saying no. Silver Flame House can't stay hidden in the mountains forever if you want it to grow. You don't get to tell me how to run my business. I'm trying to help you. I'm giving you resources. And you're turning them down just because it's me. I looked at the ledger spread out on the table. There you go again, Ethan. You hold the things I want over my head, and then you wait for me to beg. He fell silent. I said, 7 years ago, I would have begged. Not anymore. His voice cracked slightly. Ivy, I just want to help you. If you really want to help, leave me alone. After I hung up, Archer looked at me. That was actually a really good opportunity. I know. Then why did you say no? I fed the contract into the shredder. The paper crunched as the gears tore it apart. Because every road he offers me has a string attached. Archer looked at me for a few seconds. The Provincial Museum is having an intangible cultural heritage exhibition next month. I submitted our application a while ago. I got the reply this morning. I looked up. He handed me his phone. The email read, Silver Flame House has been selected for the Mountain Province New Generation Intangible Craft Exhibition. I froze. Archer smiled. There are other roads besides the ones in River City. In that moment, I heard the wind chimes in the yard ring for a long time. That night, I announced on the live stream that Silver Flame House had been selected for the Provincial Museum exhibition. The comments flooded the screen. Ethan's username appeared again. This time, he didn't donate. He just sent one message. Congratulations. I saw it. I didn't reply. After the stream ended, Molly ran in holding her phone. Silver Master. Mia posted something else. She handed me her phone. Mia had written a long post. She said she and Ethan had grown up together. She said I'd pressured him into marriage using our 7-year relationship. She said I was faking a tragic backstory to sell silver jewelry in the clan. She'd also posted several photos of me and Archer standing together. The angles were terrible, making it look like we were hugging. The comments were full of hate. She moved on that fast. No wonder she threw the ring away. Ethan's such a victim. Molly's eyes filled with angry tears. How could she say that? I took the phone from her. I scrolled to the last photo. It was Archer stepping between me and Mia at the clan gate. The caption read, Maybe I was never meant to be here. I handed the phone back to Molly. Call the police. Molly blinked. Huh, I said. And send her a lawyer's letter. Archer was standing in the doorway. I already have all the evidence. I looked at him. He held up a folder. Her payment records for the trolls. Screenshots of the rumors. The full security footage from the day she came to the clan. It's more than enough to ruin her. I smiled. Then let's send it. Mia's retaliation came quickly. She didn't wait for the lawyer's letter to go public. The next morning, dozens of marketing accounts posted videos at the same time. The titles were disgusting. Beautiful intangible heritage master has a messy personal life. Rich man's ex-girlfriend reinvented herself as a mountain princess. Dumped after pressuring man to marry. Now dating her childhood sweetheart. The videos cut together various clips of me and Archer. Him handing me ginger tea. Him helping me carry boxes. Him standing in front of me to protect me. Set to romantic music. It made my stomach turn. The Silver House's live stream was flooded with hate comments. Molly was on the verge of tears. Granny Silver sat in the front hall. Her face like thunder. I turned off the stream. We're not selling anything today. Molly wiped her eyes. But we didn't do anything wrong. I know. Then why are we stopping? I picked up my phone. Because if we're going to fight back, we shouldn't do it in front of our customers. Archer laughed softly. I turned on the official account's live stream. I pointed the camera at the Silver Flame Hall. I sat in front of the camera, with the names of every silver master in our history behind me. Within minutes, we had over 100,000 viewers. Hate comments scrolled across the screen so fast I could barely read them. I didn't turn off the comments. I held up the first piece of evidence. Mia. Youngest daughter of the Mia family in River City. These 3 screenshots are your payment records to the marketing accounts. These 5 are your chat logs with the troll group leader. This is the full, unedited video of you coming to the clan gate wearing my ring. With every word I said, Archer projected the evidence onto the screen. The comments slowed down. I continued. I was with Ethan for 7 years. In those 7 years, he never gave me a house. I never owned any shares in his company. I never asked him to buy my family cars or houses. Because I don't have a family. I grew up in this clan. Silver Flame House was left to me by my grandmother. Being the Silver Master isn't a persona. It's the responsibility I inherited when I turned 26. I held up the second set of documents. These are the 37 brand plans I wrote for Ethan's company. These are the records of the money I sent him to live on during his first 3 years of business. These are the hospital forms I signed as his emergency contact when he was hospitalized for stomach problems. And this is a recording of his mother telling me not to wear my clan's silver jewelry when I met her, because it was tacky. I pressed play on the recording. Ethan's mother's voice came through the phone. Ivy. It's not that I don't like you. It's just that Ethan's in a different position now. All that silver and bell stuff you wear, it's not appropriate. You can stay with him, but don't rush into marriage. The comments completely changed. Holy shit. 7 years and no title. She was with him through the hard times. Mia stole her ring and played the victim. Where's Ethan? Why isn't he saying anything? I looked into the camera. Ethan, if you're watching, listen carefully. I never pressured you into marriage. I just asked you one thing before I turned 26. Do you want to spend the rest of your life with me? You gave the ring to Mia, so I left. It's that simple. I held up the last document. As for the rumors about me and Archer, Archer is my business partner at Silver Flame House. He's also the head of the clan's tourism project. All of our contracts are right here. If you want to see them, I'll show you every single one. Suddenly, a live stream request popped up on the screen. Username, E. Molly looked at me. Should I accept it? I stared at the name. After a few seconds, I clicked accept. Ethan's face appeared on the screen. He was in his guesthouse room. He looked like he hadn't slept all night. His eyes bloodshot. He spoke, his voice hoarse. Ivy. The comments went crazy. I said, speak. Mr. Ethan. He looked at me. His lips pressed together. I didn't know about what Mia did. I laughed. First thing you do is throw her under the bus. His face paled even more. That's not what I'm doing. Then say something. His Adam's apple bobbed. After a long moment, he spoke into the camera. I gave the ring to Mia. I did it on purpose to hurt Ivy that night. She never pressured me into marriage. I was the one who kept stringing her along. None of the things Mia posted are true. The comments were full of people telling him to keep going. I looked at him. Is that all? Ethan's eyes slowly filled with tears. I'm sorry. Sorry to who? He stared at the screen, his voice breaking. I'm sorry to Ivy. I wasted 7 years of her life. The room was silent. Granny Silver looked at the screen and snorted. I said, apology accepted. Ending the call now. Ethan panicked. Ivy, wait. My finger hovered over the end button. He leaned in close to the camera. I'll come to the Silver Flame Hall tomorrow. I'll apologize to you in front of everyone. Can you? His voice broke. Can you just give me one more chance? I looked at him. The man on the screen no longer had that arrogant certainty. There was fear in his eyes, and pain, and regret that had come too late. But my heart was calm, like a stone path washed clean by rain, cold and clear. I said, no. Then I hung up. Ethan came anyway. The next day, it rained heavily in the mountains. Mist hung low over the hills, and rain poured down from the eaves. A crowd had gathered outside the Silver Flame Hall. The people from the Provincial Museum were there too. Today was supposed to be the day we handed over the exhibits. Ethan walked through the clan gate holding a black umbrella. There was no driver. Him. No Mia. Just him. His pants were soaked to the knees, and his shoes were caked in mud. When he reached the Silver Flame Hall, he closed his umbrella. Rain dripped from the ribs onto the ground at his feet. Granny Silver was sitting in front of the hall. Mr. Ethan. What are you doing here? Ethan looked at me. I'm here to apologize. He pulled something out of his pocket. It wasn't a ring. It was an old silver bell. I recognized it immediately. I'd given it to him when I was 21. His company had just lost its first big contract, and he'd been sitting on an overpass smoking. I'd tied the bell to his car keys. Our clan says silver bells ward off bad luck. Keep it with you. He'd carried it ever since. Until last year, when Mia had said it was tacky and didn't match his car. I'd never seen it again. Now it lay in his palm, its edges worn dark from years of use. Ethan said, I never threw it away. I didn't take it. Keeping something doesn't mean you cherish it. His fingers trembled. Then he did something no one expected. He knelt down on the wet stone steps. The sound of his knees hitting the stone was heavy and dull. The crowd gasped. Granny Silver Fr. Owned. I stood on the steps above him, my fingers curling slightly. Ethan looked up at me. Rain ran down his face, dripping from his eyebrows. Ivy, I was wrong. I was wrong to take your love for granted. I was wrong to humiliate you with that ring. I was wrong to make you back down every single time. I know it's too late to say this now, but I have to say it. His voice grew hoarser. When I couldn't find you, I went back to the apartment. Your mug was gone. Your clothes were gone. The stomach medicine you kept for me was gone. All the sticky notes you left on the fridge were torn off. I sat in the living room, and I realized that apartment was full of you, but you'd left nothing behind. His shoulders slumped. Ivy, that's when I got scared. Not angry. Scared. I was scared you'd never come back. He looked at me, tears mixing with the rain on his face. I always thought you'd never leave. You loved me so much. You'd put up with the hard times, the late nights, my mother's criticism. I thought you'd never have the strength to walk away, so I kept pushing your limits. I'm not bad at loving people. I was just cruel. I used your love against you. The crowd was completely silent now. Even Molly had stopped talking. Ethan bowed his head, his forehead touching the wet stone. I'm sorry, Ivy. I'm so sorry. I don't expect you to forgive me right now. I just beg you not to throw me away like I'm nothing. His voice cracked. I'll change. I really will. I'll stay in the clan as long as you want. I'll court you all over again. I'll even work in the Silver House for free. Stay. Just don't marry someone else. That last sentence made me frown. I walked down the steps. Rain hit my silver robes, making the metal cold. Ethan looked up, a flicker of hope in his eyes. I stopped in front of him. Ethan, even now, you're only afraid I'll belong to someone else. You're not sorry I hurt. The light in his eyes died. I knelt down so I was eye level with him. You say you'll change, but the only thing you begged for just now was for me not to marry someone else. You don't want to give me back to Missile. You just want to take me back again. His lips trembled. That's not. Yes, it is. I cut him off. You're kneeling here in the rain, looking so pathetic. But all I can think about is that night in the private room. You were standing. I was sitting. You handed the ring to Mia. You said, have it for fun. A tear fell from Ethan's eye, hitting the stone and being washed away by the rain. I stood up. I will never forgive you. But I won't hate you forever either. I don't have time for that. Silver Flame House is going to the Provincial Museum. The girls in the clan need to learn their craft. My grandmother's name is on that wall inside. I have a long road ahead of me, and there's no room for you on it. Ethan reached out and grabbed the hem of my silver robes. The silver pieces jingled in his hand. Ivy. I looked down at his hand. Let go. He didn't let go. I pried his fingers off one by one. Time. He didn't resist. The silver bell rolled out of his palm and stopped at my feet. I didn't pick it up. I turned and walked back into the hall. The Provincial Museum representative leaned over and whispered to me, Ms. Silver Master, can we start the handover now? I nodded. Yes. We can. Behind me, Ethan knelt in the rain. I didn't look back. After Mia was sued, she came to see me one last time. She was standing in the parking lot outside the clan, looking gaunt. Her carefully styled hair was a mess, and her eyes were swollen shut. When she saw me, she started crying immediately. Ivy, I know I was wrong. I checked my watch. You have 5 minutes. She froze. After everything I've been through, you're still going to be this cold, I said. 4.5 minutes left. The pretense of pity cracked on her face. Are you trying to ruin my life? A lawyer's letter isn't a knife. If you hadn't spread those lies, it wouldn't have hurt you. She gritted her teeth. Is it wrong to love someone? Loving someone isn't wrong. Stealing my ring, spreading lies about me, and paying people to harass me online is wrong. Tears streamed down her face again. But Ethan was wrong too. Why does he get to walk away? I looked at her. Who says he's walking away? She blinked. In the distance, Ethan's car was parked by the side of the road. He hadn't come into the clan in days. He just stood there for a while every day, then left. His company was in trouble. His admission on the live stream that he'd strung me along for 7 years, combined with the Mia scandal, had exposed his company's unethical PR practices. Several major partners had suspended their contracts. His mother had called me once, from an unknown number. She'd cried as soon as I answered. Ivy, I know I said terrible things to you before. Please don't be mad at Ethan anymore. The company's in a really bad spot. Could you just say one nice thing about him? I'd listened, then said, you have the wrong number, and hung up. Ethan wasn't walking away unscathed, but his punishment didn't need to come from my hand. Mia followed my gaze to the car. Her face grew even paler. He won't even talk to me now. My dad's furious with me. Everyone online calls me a homewreck. Are you happy now, Ivy? I shook my head. You still don't get it. I don't derive pleasure from your suffering. You're miserable because you dug your own grave. She stared at me bitterly. You think you're so much better than me. You only won because you had this stupid clan to fall back on. I took a step closer. Mia, I won because of the craft my grandmother left me, because of the plans I stayed up all night writing, because of the hands of the dozens of women who work in this silver house. What did you have? Her lips turned white. I said, you had a ring someone else didn't want. You had a man's half-hearted protection. You had a few blurry photos taken in secret. That's why you lost. She raised her hand to slap me. Before she could, someone grabbed her wrist. Archer was standing beside me. Miss Mia, the security cameras are rolling. Mia pulled her hand away and stepped back. She looked at Archer, then at me, and suddenly laughed bitterly. No wonder Ethan lost. You already had someone else lined up. Before I could say anything, Archer spoke first. Is that really all you can think about? He held up a folder. I'm her business partner, and her friend. She doesn't need someone else to fall back on. She is her own home. Mia's face turned white, then green. I looked at her. Your 5 minutes are up. She turned and got in her car, slamming the door so hard the windows rattled. Archer looked down at me. Are you okay? I shook my head. She couldn't have hurt me. I meant, did hearing about Ethan upset you? I looked at the car in the distance. Ethan was sitting in the driver's seat, through the window. I couldn't see his face. I looked away. No. Archer smiled. Good. On the day of the Provincial Museum exhibition, I took Molly and 3 apprentices to the city. There was a long line in front of the Silver Flame House booth. It was Molly's first time away from the clan, and her hands were sweating so much she could barely hold the bracelets. I squeezed her hand. Don't be nervous. She looked at me. Silver Master, will I ever be like you? I placed a silver hammer in her palm. Don't be like me. Be like yourself. At the opening ceremony, the host called my name, Ivy Lane, the new Silver Master of Silver Flame House. The audience applauded. I walked onto the stage. The lights fell on me. I saw hundreds of faces in the crowd, and I saw Ethan, standing in the back row. He didn't come forward. He was holding that old silver bell in his hand. I looked away. I spoke into the microphone. What is silver most afraid of? It's not fire. Fire can purify it, make it new again. What silver fears most is being thrown in a corner and forgotten, gathering dust and turning black. People are the same way. Don't let yourself gather dust. The audience was silent. Then the applause rolled over me like a wave. I stood in the light, the silver pieces on my shoulders ringing clear and bright. That night, after the exhibition ended, Ethan was waiting for me outside the museum. It was raining lightly in the city. He was standing under a streetlight, holding an umbrella. This time, he didn't try to stop me. He just walked up to me and handed me a brown paper bag. These are the things you left in the apartment. I took it. It was light. Inside were a few books, a scarf, and the silver hairpin box I'd kept on my nightstand. I opened it and checked. The hairpin was perfect. Ethan said, I didn't touch it. I nodded. Thank you. The two words hung between us. Polite and distant. His throat moved. I transferred Mia to another department. I've cut all business ties with her family. I said. That's your business. I talked to my mom. She won't bother you again. Okay. He stared at me. Ivy, can't you even say one more thing to me? I held the paper bag tightly against my chest. Rain fell outside the circle of light from the street lamp. Ethan. There's nothing left to say. His fingers tightened around the umbrella handle. I've been thinking a lot these past few weeks. What if I hadn't given the ring to Mia that night? What if I'd proposed sooner? What if I... There are no what ifs. I cut him off. You didn't lose because of that one night. You lost because you always thought I'd put up with it. He closed his eyes. The rain fell softly around us. After a long moment, he said, I know. I'm not here to beg you to come back today. I looked at him. He pulled the old silver bell out of his pocket. I wanted to give this back to you. The bell lay in his palm. I didn't take it. I don't take back things I've given away. Then can I keep it? Whatever you want. His eyes turned red again. Ivy, will I still be able to buy things from Silver Flame House? Silver Flame House is open for business. All respectful customers are welcome. I'm just a customer. I looked at him for a long moment. Yes. He smiled slightly. It was a sad, fleeting smile, gone almost as soon as it appeared. Okay. He stepped back. Congratulations on the exhibition, Silver Master. I nodded. Thank you. He turned and walked away into the rain. This time, he was the one who left first. But I didn't feel sad. And I didn't follow. I held the paper bag and walked toward the hotel. Archer was waiting for me at the entrance. He was holding 2 cups of hot soybean milk, with extra sugar. I took one. The paper cup burned my hands. I took a sip, the sweet warmth spreading down my throat. Archer didn't ask what Ethan had said. He just walked beside me. When we reached the intersection, he said suddenly. The Provincial Museum asked if Silver Flame House would be interested in a long-term partnership. The terms are really good. I smiled. We'll take it. Not afraid of strings this time. I'll read the contract myself this time. He laughed. Look at you. Silver Master. I rolled my eyes. Shut up. The rain stopped when we got back to the hotel. I set the paper bag on the table and took out the silver hairpin box. Tucked inside was a note. It was Ethan's handwriting. Ivy. May you always be cherished. I read it for a long time. Then I folded it up and threw it in the trash. I took out the silver hairpin, polished it until it shone, and pinned it in my hair. The woman in the mirror was wearing a simple white shirt. Her shoulders straight and proud. No ring, no scars, no one else's shadow. The next morning, I took my team back to the clan. At the clan gate, Molly was holding a new sign she'd made. It said, Welcome home, Silver Master. Granny Silver was sitting on the porch, pretending to be annoyed. All this unnecessary fuss. But her eyes were crinkled with a smile. I walked into the Silver Flame Hall and placed the Provincial Museum Partnership Certificate under my grandmother's name. Sunlight streamed through the window, falling on the silver lamp. The flame flickered gently. I knelt down and bowed to my grandmother. Grandma, I'm home. Outside, the apprentices were calling for me. Silver Master, are we streaming today? Silver Master, the new silver shipment just arrived. Silver Master. Molly broke her hammer. Molly yelled from outside. I did not. I laughed and stood up. The silver bells on my robes rang out, clear and bright. I pushed open the door. Mountain wind rushed in, carrying the smell of grass, stream water, and burning silver. I once thought a ring would give me a home. Now I know better. The door is in my own hands, and so is the key. I'm not waiting for anyone to marry me. I'm coming home to myself.